Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ender101 and tonight we're going to be playing Arkham Horror, the living card game by Fantasy Flight Games. We're going to be running through the past Carcosa, and this is scenario number 1, Curtain Call. As you can see, we already have the map, everything is set up. We're going to be playing on standard difficulty. So let's run through our intrepid adventurers. Our lead investigator is going to be Marie Lambeau. Marie Lambeau has 6 health and 8 sanity. She has 4 willpower, 4 intellect, 1 fight, and 3 agility. Her special ability is while you have 1 or more doom among cards you control, you may take an additional action during your turn, which can only be used to play spell cards or activate spell abilities. Her star effect is +1, and you may add 1 doom or remove 1 doom to a card you control. Her partner is going to be William Yorick. William Yorick has 8 health and 6 sanity, 3 willpower, 2 intellect, 4 fight, and 3 agility. His special ability is a reaction. After you defeat an enemy, play an asset from your discard pile, paying its cost, and a limit of once per round. His star effect is a +2, and if the test is successful, return 1 card from your discard pile to your hand. It's important to note with that is the card you return with the star does not have to be an asset like the reaction. So why don't we run through the story? Alright, so have you seen the yellow sign? He mentioned the establishment of the dynasty in Carcosa, the lakes which connected Hoster, Aldebaran, and the mystery of the Hades. He spoke of Casilda and Camilla, and sounded the cloudy depths of Deme in the Lake of Holly. Robert W. Chambers, the Repairer of Reputations. Prologue. You turn over the folded program in your hand, reading it for what seems like the 100th time. Miskatonic Playhouse presents The King in Yellow, it reads, a special one-night engagement at Arkham's very own Ward Theatre. An irresistible drama in 2 acts. Production staged and directed by Nigel Engram. The cast is a small ensemble with 1 unattributed credit at the end, The Stranger. To have such a highly anticipated play come to Arkham all the way from Paris is a noteworthy event, even if it is just for 1 night. For weeks leading up to the show, it was the talk of the town. It seemed so unassuming, and yet, you have evidence something sinister is at work. It started with the disappearance of one of the stagehands at the theater, a boy of only 17 who missed a rehearsal one night and was never seen again. Then, 2 weeks before the performance, there was the musician whose corpse was found with a gun in its mouth. Perhaps most chilling was the crazed man the coppers had picked up in Independence Square, who had been ranting and raving about the King's return. He was brought to Arkham Asylum, and you were surprised to discover that he was not alone in his delusions. Finding these events suspicious, you and your companions have delved deeper into the matter. Although no connection can be proven, these weren't the only strange events surrounding the up-and-coming play. Instances of suicide and madness have followed in its wake, and you are determined to discover why. The lights in the auditorium dim, and a spotlight shines on the stage. What unfolds is not quite what you expected. Slow-paced and monotonous, the first act of The King in Yellow is a tedious bore. The setting and characters are compelling, but the meandering and nonsensical story does little to entertain or inform. You begin to wonder whether the dreadful events surrounding The King in Yellow aren't connected after all. Perhaps it was just your overactive imagination. How could such a trivial and unassuming show cause such pandemonium? You are surprised when the first act closes without any rising action or revelation. The lights rise before the intermission, and you consider leaving early, stifling a yawn. Before you are able to decide, however, you find yourself drifting to sleep. Scenario 1. Curtain Call. You awaken with a start, as though shaken by an unseen force. You must have slept for quite some time, for there are only a few other patrons in the audience, and no performers on stage. The lights are dimmed and the stage curtains are tattered and ripped, though you do not remember that being the case during the first act. You wait a moment before you are sure this isn't part of the performance, As you wait, a foul but unrecognizable smell permeates the air. How long have you been asleep? Shaking off your drowsiness, you walk toward one of the seated patrons and ask for the time, but he does not respond. It is then that you realize you are speaking to a corpse. Okay, why don't we get started then? Let's do the opening hand for William Yorick. I think that's pretty good. Bury them deep. The Gravedigger's Shovel is a great card for Yorick, and 32 Colt lets him get some more damage out. I think we're going to mulligan just one. Okay, that works nicely. And we'll go over to Marie and repeat the process. Okay, this isn't so bad. We are going to mulligan Calling in Favors. I said we're going to mulligan Calling in Favors. It's fighting me. And Live and Learn. Fast play after the test ends. And we'll keep those. Oh wait, no, we want... We want more business, so I lied, we're going to mulligan 3. Alright. I don't know if that counts as business or not, but it's okay. It's not bad. Both our investigators also start with 5 resources. And we're going to be starting in the theater. So, that must have been one hell of an intermission. To say that the theater is in disarray would be a profound understatement. The walls and seats, previously polished to a shine, are cracked and caked with dirt. The curtains are tattered, and the set is stained with old blood. You aren't sure what's worse, the smell of rot or the nagging feeling that you've been asleep for a very long time. Alright, so we got Marie here and Yorick. And just like ye old Scooby-Doo, I think we're going to split up gang. We'll start with Marie, who will... she'll head one towards the lobby. Through the tall glass doors leading to the lobby, you can see that this room isn't nearly as dilapidated as the auditorium. Signs promoting the King in Yellow taunt you from inside. Before we flip, we really should go over the agenda and act deck. I apologize. So the third act, the theater, is eerily silent. The old wooden floor creaks beneath your feet, and a light rain gently patters on the roof as you explore the auditorium. There are more rotting corpses among the seats, and the rest of the crowd has vanished. Awakening. You pinch yourself to see if you are dreaming, and sure enough, your skin stings and reddens. You take a few deep breaths and try to think rationally. Whatever is going on, you must explore the theater to learn the truth of the matter. So we need 3 clues per investigator, and there are 6 doom that we have to watch out for. So let's flip this. When the lobby is revealed, put 2 of the set-aside lobby doorway locations into play at random. There's 1 and 2. Okay, so Marie's taken 1 action so far. I think we're going to use the 2 other actions to get some of her resources out and get her set up for future turns. So, 1 Forbidden Knowledge. 2 Forbidden Knowledge. And then as a fast action, we can take one of these and put it there. Well, let's not do it that way. And let's see. These exhaust when you do that. No, 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 come on. Technical difficulties. Alright, so we made too many that way. And that will be Marie's turn. Alright, so going over to Yorick. We'll spend 1 action to play the gun. The second action to move. Backstage. The set is different from what you remember of the play's first act, decorated with a backdrop of unsettling sunsets. Alrighty. Forced from the backstage reveal, put 2 of the set-aside backstage doorway locations into play at random. While you're at backstage, each hidden treachery in your hand counts as 3 cards instead of 1 for the purpose of counting hand size. Okay, so backstage, shuffle these up. 1 and 2. Okay, so that was 1 action for him. Pardon me. So the next action will be to simply move again. A simple wooden door leads to the back of the theater, far from the prying eyes of patrons. The dressing room is Shroud of 4, and we can, as 3 actions, heal 3 horror. Alright, so that was 1 action, 2 action, and then we'll just move back. And that will be our first turn. So we move into the enemy phase. There are no enemies, so we reset actions, flip the mini cards. And go up to 90. Reset those cards. We each gain a money and draw card. And then I believe we move into the Mythos. We both have good hand size. Right? I guess that button doesn't actually do anything. It is fancy though. So we uptick the Doom. And then we each draw 1 from the encounter deck. Alright, we get Frozen in Fear for Yorick. Let's see, the first time you perform 1 of the following actions, you move, fight, or evade each round, it costs 1 additional action. And we can test 3 willpower to try and get rid of it. It is an obnoxious card. And then we get Swarm of Rats for Marie. Yeah, the other way around would have been great. So, it has 1/1/3, and it has Hunter. Okay. Do. Frozen in Fear sucks, gang. Okay. So I think what we're going to do with Yorick is simply pay 2 and play the Gravedigger's Shovel, and then use the action to discard the shovel to discover 1 clue at our location. And then we will just make a resource, because Frozen in Fear sort of turns us off of doing a lot of cool stuff. So then we're stuck with Marie, who's having a bad time. Because she is only a fight of 1, and so is this. And she's 3 evade, and so is that, so no matter which one she does, it's going to just sort of suck. So I think what we're going to do is just, because this is basically free, throw tokens everywhere. Did I delete an extra token? They should be the same. Turn 1, turn 2. Yeah, there should be. I must have lost a token somewhere. There should be 2 of each on those. And I think we're just going to throw this away as a +1 to try and kill the rats. -2. Oh, how you taunt me. Well, I hate searching for a 0 because I'm just pretty sure that's not going to happen, but let's go for it. +1, there we go. So that's 2 of her actions so far. As a fast action, we will play the magnifying glass. So her second real action will be to go down here. Alright. We can discard our hand to get +3 for the test. That's pretty rough. For our last action, we'll pay 2 and play Arcane Studies. That will be fairly useful for us. Alright, so that's going to end the turn. We move into the enemy phase. There are no enemies anywhere. When do we test for this? At the end of your turn. Oh. Well, we should have already tested for that then. So let's give that a look-see. Oof, -4? Nope, that sucks. Yeah, we can't lucky our way out of that one. Alright, so that means we're going to move into the Mythos phase. We put a Doom on the agenda, and then we draw some encounter cards. We've got some rats for Yorick to deal with, and Rotting Remains. Alright, sorry about that, some technical difficulties. So yeah, so Rotting Remains here for Marie. She is currently at a +1. We will spend money to give ourselves another +1 so that we're at the +2, which is good, because that means we would have failed otherwise. Alrighty. So let's see what Yorick wants to do. I think Yorick is just going to try and... Ha! I do this all the time in real life as well. I forget to draw cards and make money. Okay. So, running back real quick. So we're going to just fight this enemy here. It does cost us 2 actions because Frozen Fear is mean. So, we're at a +3. There's no reason to use the Colt on some rats. The Skull. The Skull is -1 or -3 if you have 3 or more horror. So that will kill a rat, and I think we're just going to bury them deep. Fast play when a non-elite enemy or location is defeated. Add that enemy and this card to the victory display. So, These rats are worth a victory point to us at the end of this scenario. And that should be up here. Boop. And we did defeat an enemy, so we're going to spend 2 and get that back. And we'll use our third action to move down here. The rehearsal room. Forced after you succeed by 2 or more while investigating, take 1 horror. As you enter this room, silently confronting you is a giant symbol torn into the wallpaper. You cannot tell whether the wall was deliberately vandalized or the material peeled away in a strange pattern on its own. But it is only a Shroud of 1. So cool. So that's going to be it for York. And we'll move over to Marie. So this is a Shroud of 5. Marie's got 4 plus 1 here. These are supposed to have reset. But we'll just take care of that now. I don't know why I bothered to untap them. So we'll just give ourselves plus 2 through Arcane Studies, plus 2 Intellect. And that was money wasted. So that was 1 action so far. We'll do it again. Success, we'll get that clue. And we'll try it 1 more time. It's called only -1. So that does give us another clue. And that was 1, 2, 3 searches. So that's the end of that turn. So, enemy phase, there are no enemies, but we do need to test for Frozen in Fear. There is nothing he can throw at it to help out. 0. Let's see, it's willpower 3. Awesome, so that does get rid of Frozen in Fear finally. So, let's reset all the actions. Not forget about you guys this time. And we'll move into the Mythos phase. 3 Doom on the agenda. We get Dissonant Voices. We cannot play assets or events. And it just discards itself at the end of the round. And now she gets Frozen in Fear. Alright, good to know. Okay. That could have been a whole lot worse. So what we're going to do here is, with Yorick, we're just going to try and investigate. So we're at a +1. And -1, that gives us our 4th clue. And then we're just going to try it again. And that is another success. Alright, so now we're up to 5. We need 1 more. Then I don't really see a reason to hang around over here. So we'll use our 3rd action just to move up. For Marie, it'll cost her 2 actions to move up here. And then we're just going to investigate for her 3rd action. So 4 to 4. We'll spend 1 more. I did that again. Good gracious. So we'll just play Perception to give ourselves +2. And let's see what happens. We get the star. We don't really want to add or remove Doom from anything that we own right now, but that lets her draw a card for Shriveling. Sweet. And that does give us 3 clues per investigator. So, the Act deck. A shadow creeps along the wall beside you, and your heart leaps into your throat. You turn, and a figure flits away just out of sight. Either your mind is playing tricks on you, or someone else is in the theater. You follow the direction of the shadow, rounding a nearby corner. At the far end of the hall he stands awaiting you, a man in an elegant black suit, his face covered by a pale mask. Although his attire has changed, you instantly recognize him as the actor who played the role of the stranger, one of the characters from The King in Yellow. He turns and disappears through an open doorway, as if taunting you to follow. Choose one of the set-aside locations at random. Put that location into play and spawn the set-aside man in the pallid mask enemy at that location. Advance to one of the 3 copies of Act 2A at random. Alright, so lobby doorway or backstage. Let's shuffle that up, and this one, lobby doorway. Okay. Okay, so that is going to be the end of the turn, though. So Dissonant Voices goes away. Enemy phase, he does not have Hunter. In fact, he has Aloof. So upkeep, we unflip everything. We had to spend those clues, I think. We draw a card and make a money. We'll try not to forget that 3 times in a row. I make no promises about not forgetting it again, though. Oh, sweet, Renfield. Alrighty. So, we put some Doom on the old agenda. We're up to 4. And then we each draw an encounter card. Rotting Remains. Test 3 willpower. For each one you fail, take a horror. Alrighty. We have no willpower to just throw at it, but we do have lucky. So -1. We could take a horror, I think. I think that's okay. YOLO. We did forget Frozen in Fear here, though. Spend the money to give ourselves a +1. And auto-fail. There we go. So that stays in play for her. Huzzah. But then her own card for this turn is more rats. Joyous. So the Man in Pallid Mask is there. We've got 2 more turns. I think what I want to do with the orc is actually go up to the balcony. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Alright, it is worth victory point, good. So, 2 Shroud, 1 Blueprint Investigator. Forced after you perform a move action during which you move from the balcony to the theater, take 2 damage. Alright, so that is his turn. So the Marie is going to fight those rats. Let's go over her hand. Let's get the last 2 money off of these. That gets rid of them. So it costs 2 actions. I think we're gonna just eat a point of damage and play Shriveling for 3. And then we'll use one of those Shriveling to try and kill these rats. That was totally unnecessary, but there we go. So that's that was 1-2 to fight, and that. Then we get to try and get rid of Frozen in Fear. We're at a +1. We'll spend her last money or -3. Dang it. Alright, so that stays in play again. So that is going to be the end of our turn. Good to reset all our cards. The enemy phase, he just sits around there again. We each draw a card and make a money. Oh wait, no, we killed those rats. There we go. Okay, and then into the Mythos phase. So this goes up to 5. Getting scary. Rotting Remains again. Star. +2. So that just works for him. There's nothing to return to our hand. He's had a pretty boring game so far. And Dissonant. Wait, stop that. We need 2 of those. Dissonant Voices. Alright. Okay, so we're going to start off with Yorick. His first action will be to discard the shovel and to discover this clue. And then he's going to try and discover another clue. He will play Resourceful into it, giving him a +1 intellect, which will give him up to a +1, and we have Lucky to throw at it if we so choose. Alright, we don't need to throw Lucky at it, we just get that other clue, which would be good for getting us a victory point at the end. So that was 2 actions, and his third action would be to move down here. And that's the end of his turn. So that cost 3. Oh dear. Well, that's not good. I think her whole turn is going to be making 3 money so we can stop the Doom from advancing a turn. Well, does that make sense? Really? No, it doesn't make sense. Might as well just take her turn. We can't play assets or events anyways. We'll spend 2 actions to move down here. And we'll let Marie draw a card. Well, we get her weakness, Baron Samedi. Revelation, put him in play. He cannot leave play while he has less than 3 Doom on him. Force, when any amount of damage is placed on an investigator in his location, place 1 additional damage on that investigator. We can exhaust him and place a Doom on him. And if he has 3 or more Doom on him, discard him. So, there he goes. There's no reason to put Doom on him right now. This is going to flip anyways. So it gives us literally nothing. So we are going to try and get rid of that. So that'll be -1. It tests 3 or a 4, so that works. We get rid of Frozen in Fear at least. So that is going to end our turn. It was not very good. We got a victory point from Yorick, but that's probably too greedy. That is a problem I have with this game. I am super greedy. So we each make a money and draw a card. Another Vicious Blow. And another David Renfield. And that guy looks a lot like Johnny Depp or something. Tim Burton movie over there. Okay. So then we move into the Mythos phase. That is going to bring us up to 6, and this will flip. Abruptly, the malformed body of an unnatural nightmare slams into the stage, its slithering tendrils reaching to the aisles. It opens its maw and lets out a shrill, piercing song. The melody is uncanny, the notes sear into your mind. Pain pounds in your forehead, and blood runs from your ears. Search all set-aside cards in the victory display for the Royal Emissary and spawn it in the theater. Icky. So, the Royal Emissary, whoops. The Royal Emissary is a 4/4/2, making him pretty beefy. He is massive, hunter, and has retaliate. At the end of the enemy phase, each investigator at the Royal Emissary's location or a connecting location takes 1 horror from its terrible, terrible singing. It does 2 physical damage. Okay, and then let's do some encounter cards. For each cultist enemy in play, move 1 clue. We don't have any cultists, I think. Nope, he is not a cultist. Gain Surge. The king wanted that edict, but really, he can't have it. So here's a Fanatic. Fanatic enters play, move 1 clue from its Fanatic's location. So there are no clues anywhere. So we can sort of put him where we want. So it's equal. So we're just going to put him... up there, you know, we just don't need to do. Alright, game, come on. The game does not agree with my decision to put the Fanatic there. But there's nothing stopping me. And then for Marie, that goes away. Another Fanatic. Here we go again. Alright, they're just both up there hanging out. So, Encore. There's 6 more due on this. Oh, and our random one. We never did that, did we? Anyone of the stranger? Luckily that hasn't come up yet. Okay. So this guy is aloof. And we need to decide what to do with York. York could go over here and pretty reasonably smack that guy, I think. We've got vicious blows, we got bullets. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go kill this Royal Emissary. So it's 1 action here. Tra-la-la-la. We'll throw a vicious blow at him. That brings our, and we'll spend a bullet. So he'll deal +1 damage for this fight. And we'll also, because that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 damage if this hits. We're at a +2. Might as well throw the dog, so we're at a +3. Because if we defeat him, we could just bring something back. We get the star. Oh, sweet. So that's a +2, and if it's successful, we get to return. We'll get both of his effects. So that will defeat the Royal Emissary. That's 4 damage. So up to the victory display he goes. For the star, we'll bring a vicious blow back, because it doesn't have to be an asset. Oh, nope, get out of there. Oh, I never did that earlier. Oh well. And we'll pay 2 to put the Gravedigger Shovel back into play, because that's a pretty sweet card. Or no. Yeah. Cool. That worked out pretty nice. So that was a 1, 2, and then he has a 3rd action. We'll move back 1, so we can move down there and help if we need to. So with Marie, she was supposed to make a money last turn. Since I forgot this time, I'll suffer the consequences. I need to learn there are consequences to my actions. So let's see, Baron Smeldy sucks. This guy has a fight of 4. Alright, we are going to make a money, engage the Pallid Man, because he has aloof, so we have to engage him ourselves. And then we're going to try and poke him in the eye with a shriveling. We'll give, so he's a 4, we're a 4 willpower. So we'll spend that money to give ourselves a +1, and we'll throw this to give ourselves up to +2. Sweet, so he's going to take 2 points of damage. So 2 damage out of 3 on the Pallid Man. And that's going to be the end of our turn. We'll go up to 1 doom there. Okay, wait, let's go in order. That's how mistakes are made. So, end of turn. She takes a horror. I need to double check to see if he will give her an additional point of damage while he's at it, or if that only works with damage versus sanity. We'll double check that in a second. So make money, draw a card, or a perception, and he will make a money and draw a card for if it bleeds. Alrighty. So we're going to take a quick break while I look up a rule. Alright, from what I can tell, damage and horror are tracked separately, so I don't think Baron Samedi's rule procs on this. I could be wrong, but that's how I'm going to play today. Feel free to throw it in the comment sections with all the other glorious mistakes I've been making this whole time. And we'll move on from there. So we drew our cards, we made our money. So, moving into, we got smacked in the face by the man in the Pallid Mask. And we'll move into the encounter phase, Mythos phase. So another Fanatic comes into play. Still no more clues have been... Oh, wait. Alright, good. We did forget to flip that earlier, but the Fanatic will in fact go up here still. Hopefully we never have to go back up there. That is a lot of Fanatics. Which like to fight me. Alright. Okay, so Prey is the most clues, so it's going to be on good old Yorick. Hunter forced after he attacks you, move one of your clues to the Agent of the King. When you defeat the Agent of the King, take control of all its clues. So good to know. These should have gone back up into the pile. Okay, it's just gonna be crooked. I must have clicked that weirdly at some point. Okay. So let's do Marie first this time. We got the man in the Pallid Mask. We're going to try and shrivel him again. It's going to be really hard to play Mystifying Song in this match, I think. So I think I'm going to do the dumb thing and chuck it and spend the money. So let's see, he is a 4. We're a 4, 5, 6, 7. So the -4 does in fact screw us. Harsh. So I threw all my eggs into that one basket, so we're just going to try it again. And the -1 means it doesn't work either. He doesn't ever retaliate, does he? Nope. Oh, crap, we could have been... It's only a 4. I'm dumb. So that was 2 actions. We're just going to try and talk to him then. We'll throw one of the Renfields and Perception. So we're at a 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 to 4 again. So, let's see. Location of +2 Shroud. If you succeed instead of discovering clues, defeat the man in the pallid mask. We could have just done that and saved myself no end of trouble, but I am dumb. So, let's see what this says. Okay, as you face off with the stranger, you get the sense that he is grinning beneath his pale mask. Where is everyone, you ask, but he does not respond. What is going on? He remains silent and steps back as you approach, until his back is against the corner of the room. Inexplicably, he continues to back away, and his body melds into the wall behind him. Erupting from where he stood is a growing mass of viscous ooze. Instead of discarding the man in the pallid mask, move him to the lobby. Add 2 tomb tokens to the skull bag. Place 1 horror on that location the man in the pallid mask was moved from. Until the end of the scenario, horror on location represents the advancing ooze, and each location with horror gains forced at the end. After you leave this location, test for agility. If you fail, take 1 horror and 1 damage. Keep this card next to the act deck as a reminder in advance. Okay. While the man in the pallid mask is not in play, the lobby gains resigned. Forced, at the end of the round, place 1 horror on each location with no horror that is connected to a location with horror. Objective: if each undefeated investigator has resigned, advance. Alright, so that's Marie's turn. And this gets horror on it, as the ooze will advance. So it'll go here, then all over the place. Okay, so we'll move over to our buddy here, and he's going to try and defeat the agent of the king. Alrighty. He will throw a vicious blow and a bullet. So we're at a +1. We'll throw, if it bleeds, away at it as well. So we're at a +2. And we'll deal 3 mighty damage. Cool. Then for this, I actually think, since he only has 1 damage left, we're going to use the fight action on the Gravedigger Shovel to get +2. And we have lucky, so hopefully that will work. Sweet. So we get the star. So that will defeat this guy. Up to the victory display with him. We can pay to get an asset back and get just any old card back to our hand. We're going to get the vicious blow. Oh no, just 1 card. Get that vicious blow back, so it's been really useful. And this time we'll pay for the dog, since we don't have any other. So the good old guard dog. So if we do start taking damage again, we can have some health and just let the dog bite them. So pretty reasonable turn for York, I think, that time around. And that is going to end our turn. So sorry, he's there, but he is still aloof. Stop it. Fine. We'll figure that out later. Okay, so moving into the upkeep phase, Make money. Draw a card. Ooh. Graveyard Ghouls. Prey, William Yorick. Hunter. While Graveyard Ghouls is engaged with you, cards cannot leave your discard pile. But there's really no reason not to just ignore them, I think. So she gets to draw a card. And make money. So, we flip these as well. We get another Doom. Spirit's Torment. Revelation attached to your location. After you leave attached location, you must either take a horror or lose an action. Or you can place a clue to discard it. Okay, then for her, she gets the same thing. Okay. Alright, so let's start off with Yorick. Yorick is going to spend one action to engage the man in the pallid mask. Alright, so we can do +2 Shroud, so that's 4. Oh, he doesn't really want to do that. Instead, we're just going to try and kill the man in the pallid mask, burn a bullet, play Vicious Blow. Let's see, how much health does he have? Only 3? So instead, we're actually going to leave the bullet here. And we're going to use the shovel instead with Vicious Blow. That gives us the biggest, that gives us a +3. So that's the biggest bang for our buck. Alright, so that deals 2 damage out of his 3. And then we will hit again with the shovel, so it doesn't exhaust. So now we're just at a +2, but we have lucky just in case. Alright, nope, that hits though. So, that will defeat the man in the pallid mask. He doesn't go to the victory display, but unless something else tells us, we're just going to put him up there for now. So then Yorick has 1 action left. And we will... This time we'll shoot the ghouls. So their fight is only 3, ours is 4, so that does hit. It deals them 2 points of damage. And that is Yorick's turn. Wait, no, never mind. That I cheated. I took an extra action there. It was 2 hits to kill the man in the pallid mask. 2? Wait, did I just cheat? Engage, shoot. Yeah, okay. So the ghouls are alive and well. So we'll move over to Marie Lambeau. She's going to move here. This says you must either take a horror or lose an action. And this says we have to forced test 4. If you fail, take a horror and a damage. Yeah, so we'll lose an action from this, and we will test to see about that. And give ourselves up to 4. +1. Alright, so it succeeds. We don't take a damage from that. So that was 2 actions to leave there. We have 1 left. I'm going to be greedy, because that is what I do. So while you're in the lighting box, increase the resource cost of each card in your hand by 2. Okay, so that's going to be her turn. Enemy phase. York gets hit by these guys. He takes 1 of each. We'll put 1 damage on the dog, which will, as a reaction, deal a damage back to the ghouls. And then he will take 1 more horror. Make a money, draw a card. Make a money, draw a card. Then into the Mythos phase. We go up a Doom, and then for some Mythos cards. The Poltergeist. Parley test 3 book and attempt to banish the Geist. If you succeed, deal it a damage. Oh dear. That doesn't sound good at all. And then she gets the same thing. At least she can blast it with shriveling. Alright, so then it's the player turn. Let's start with Marie. So it's a fight of 3. Or we can try and talk to it. I wanted to play Renfield, but we're running out of time, and I just want the victory point here before running away. So we'll throw a book and spend a money to give us +2. So we're at a +3 total to try and talk this thing down. Alright, so we deal it 1 damage. And then we're going to just throw the Ward of Protection. And spend another money to talk it down again. Right, so that was both of its damage. And then the Shroud of this is 4 to our 5. And I spent all my money and resources just talking that guy down. We do discover 1 clue though. Oh, so wait, I think this happened again. Okay. And that is Marie's turn. Then for Yorick. Are we being too greedy here, gang? I think we're being awfully greedy. I think we're just going to resign. There's nothing else for him to do, and he'll probably just slowly... He might even just die if we leave him here. So we're going to resign with Yorick. So we resign. This guy goes here. This guy goes here, but he only prays. Only. William York only. So I actually don't know what happens in that regard, but that is what we're doing. Okay, those don't actually do that. Alright. There's a good chance that wasn't just wrong, but really stupid of me. But that is what we're going for. So, on that turn. And that will spread the ooze once more. So, she makes a resource and draws money. We move into the Mythos phase, so we get a Doom. And you cannot commit skill cards. That's fine. Do not care. Alright. So we're going to try and beat the Shroud. Spend money, so we are at a +2 total. And oh crap. I can't do maths. Crap. Alright, so I just fail. Because I can't lucky. Because I have no money. Then you know what? We're just going to leave that point on the table, which kills me. We'll move here. She'll test and fail that agility test, I think. Yep. She'll take one of each. And then she's also just going to resign. So that's going to be the end of that mission. Okay. I hate leaving points on the table, but there is a point, I think, when there's too much greed. So let's see what happens. So, at the end of the round, if each undefeated investigator is resigned, advance. Alright. The stranger gives you a slight bow as he steps through the lobby's front entrance, opening a glass door that was not there a moment before. A sudden cacophony of noise erupts around you, and you fear that the building is only seconds before it is destroyed. You flee, crashing through the front doors and leaving the ruined theater in your wake. Several blocks away, you take a moment to rest and think about what you've witnessed. Choose one. We warn the police about what's going on, or the police won't believe us. We have to solve this mystery on our own. I'm going to say that these guys are... We're no strangers to the oddities of Arkham. You know, the police will not help us, so we're going to go to Art 2. Oh, that's resolution 1. Alright, resolution 2. You think about going to the police, but considering the horrors in the theater, they're more likely to think you're mad than believe your story. A small part of you wonders if this is still some kind of prank, but that can't be the case. It was all too real, too terrifying to forget. Wondering what course of action to take, you find yourself backtracking over your escape route, returning to the theater with cautious steps. The bright glare of headlights drills into your eyes as cars pass on the street, splashing dirty rainwater onto the sidewalk beside you. Soon, the Ward Theater comes into sight, its bright lights dominating the streets of downtown. You expect the theater to be in ruins, but its exterior looks the same as it did when you arrived to see the King in Yellow earlier that night. You walk to the front window of the Ward Theater and tentatively peer through, but it is too dark to see anything inside. Just then, a chill brushes the nape of your neck, and you feel that you are being watched. You turn and spot a shadow fleeing around a corner. A swarm of roaches skitters across the sidewalk, following in the shadow's wake. Your muscles tense with uncertainty, and you round the corner in pursuit. Standing unconcerned on the sidewalk is a familiar-looking man in a featureless, pallid mask. His unwavering gaze bears down upon you. "Who are you?" you call out. The stranger does not respond, and instead turns and disappears into the alleyway behind the theater. You give chase, hoping for answers, but by the time you reach the alleyway, it is empty, save for a notice on the wall near the theater's employee entrance. "Don't be a wet blanket. Come to the King in Yellow cast party, 8 p.m. at the home of Constance Dumaine, 1452 Atlantic Avenue. Formal dress only." You tear the notice from the wall and take it with you, hoping it will lead you to the answers that you seek. Do you think it was wise not to warn anyone? In your campaign log, record that you chose not to go to the police. Mark 1 doubt. Alrighty, where's doubt? Ah! Let's have that doubt, okay? Mark the doubt. In your campaign log, record that the stranger is onto you. Add the man in the pallid mask weakness to the lead investigator's deck. For the remainder of this campaign, anytime the bearer of the pallid man leaves the campaign for any reason, choose a new investigator to become the bearer of the man in the pallid mask. So, stranger's onto us. In your campaign, under Chasing the Stranger, place 2 tally marks. For the remainder of the campaign, keep a running tally of the times the stranger has been defeated. Each investigator earns victory X for the victory display. So let's see, let's count that up next. So in the victory display we have 1, 2, 3, 4 victory points. And then we have 5, 6, 7. We are 1 shy of getting 8. So let's see. 7 victory points. Alright, I hope you've enjoyed this run of Curtain Call from The Path to Carcosa. I'll make another video outlining the decks and how we're going to upgrade them, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay frightened, my friends.